And if he stays still, he's okay. If he needs to move, you're going to back him up. So give him more rope. There you go. You can look at it, but don't stare at it. Don't say, I'm kind of concerned about it, because you have a little bit of tension in your butt. And as you're staring, he's thinking, okay, she's still staring, so there's a problem. And I might not even necessarily wait for it. So go ahead and do something, because it's like almost like anticipation.
Yeah, I know, like you're waiting for them.
Yeah, and so he's going to feel that you got a little bit of anxiety that, oh my God, here comes the trash truck. If you don't mind, I'd like to put this on, if it fits. Because he's got, I'm not sure if I brought the right size. Before we take that off, let me just see if this fits.
Yeah, did you bring moose size?
Well,
Size for a moose?
yeah, it's going to fit. So I'm going to ask him to bring his head down. I always want the head low when I put it on. It's a respect thing. I'm going to ask him to put his head back down by pinching up here. When he starts to lower his head, I release that. See, he understands. He looked right away. He goes, get it. I'm going to ask him to lower his head again by I just do a little pinch there, and as soon as it starts to come down, I take it off, because remember, it's the release that teaches. So what I'm going to show you really quick before he comes, I'll take that, that's fine, is I'm going to show you how to back him up without him throwing his head. So I'm going to ask him over here. See how I just kind of do that to stop him? I would have liked him to stop sooner, but he doesn't know yet. So I'm going to ask him to back up. He's not listening to me, so I'm going to tap. Now, I shouldn't have to tap again if I was effective. So I bring up this energy. I take like a deep breath. I look like I still want you to go. And he's going, I don't know if I want to go any further than that. He's going, I'll back up, but only a few steps. So anything that I ask the horse to do, I assess where they're at, and I say, I need a little bit more. Okay? Because otherwise they're never learning, and they're never getting better. And they just start tuning you out. That's like baby talk. Okay? And that's okay when they're learning. Yeah. So I'm going to ask him to come to me. My shoulders are relaxed. I don't have a lot of energy in my body. Now I'm going to bring it up. See how that helped? And I just brought my shoulders and my arms up a little bit. And he goes, oh, I know what that means. Yes. And now when I ask him to back up, I'm going to start just making commotion, a little bit of rhythm here. I'm going to do it with rhythm. So this is what he's offering me right now, is little steps. If I want him to pick up the pace a little bit, show some improvement. There was a little bit of improvement. The head's going to start coming down more, but he was being resistant. He goes, I'm used to this is only as much as I give. Yeah. So there's always got to be improvement. So I assessed, where is he at? He goes, this is what I can give you. And I said, I got bigger in my body and said, I want a little bit more. And he goes, but this is all I have. And that's when I'm allowed to tap. Horses do not take offense if you're fair. They only take offense when you're not fair. So I give him every opportunity to respond appropriately first. I block that eye. That's what I did. I said, you're not allowed to come in here. I don't care if a trash truck's coming. You are not allowed. I'm going to turn him towards it. Because I don't want him running into me. I'm pushing that shoulder over. I asked and he didn't want to give it to me. There. He gave me a little bit.
Really great. You haven't dragged it how we wanted to do that. I was gonna say
So I'm going to ask him to keep backing up because his head's high. See how he's starry-eyed and he's not blinking? I would like him to start blinking. The reason we do a lot of backup is because it's not something we do a lot in the wild, and it causes them to think. Okay? He's starry-eyed. I'd rather him not be. Okay? I asked him to move. His head came down. When his head came down, my shoulders got relaxed. Because I got kind of big to ask him to move. And when he moves, if I lower my shoulders and relax my body, it's a sign of release. It's a release of pressure. And he understands that. So what I'm always looking for is for him to get calmer and braver. So right now I'm going to leave him alone because his head's low, he's blinking, so he's processing, and I'm going to give him a little bit of time there because over there he was pretty up. He goes, I know what's coming. I know what's coming. I heard it down the street. And so I was just saying, well then let's just back up a little bit. So I want to reward this. So I'm not going to ask him a lot right now because he needs just that little bit of time to decompress. So I kind of look at it this way. If I had two glasses in my hand, one's full of water and one's empty water. When I ask the horse to do something, I'm putting a little bit of pressure in that cup, pouring a little bit of water in it, which is a little bit of pressure. So I'm always trying to dump that cup. I never want to fill that cup. Okay, because if I fill the cup, that's when you get the spooking. That's when you get the bolting. That's when you get the rearing, all the crazy stuff because they go, my cup's full and now I've got to do something. So I add a little, I take a little out. Put a little pressure in, take the pressure off. Let him relax. So I look at it as dumping the cup. I'm always dumping the cup. Right now I'm dumping the cup. So that way it also gives them a chance to think, a chance to learn, a chance to concentrate, because the more anxiety they got in them, they can't, their brain just leaves. They can't think. I know. So see how his head's up and he's starry-eyed again. So I'm going to give him something to do. I'm going to ask him to back up. I'm going to breathe in. I get taller. My shoulders come up. I'm going to start wiggling this stick. He's not listening. So I'm going to start tapping lightly. Then I'm going to tap a little harder. There we go. As soon as he started going faster, my shoulder came down. I went, thank you. Okay, pretty soon I won't have to do that, but see how I was fair? Because I first use rhythm in I use my energy. Eventually he'll just respond to my energy because he'll know what comes after that. I make my body big, and then I'll start using rhythm. And if he doesn't, then I'll start tapping his chest lightly. And if he still doesn't respond, then I'll tap it harder. And he's not going to take offense because I was fair. Now, if I would have just said, I want you to back up and went and whack, that's not fair. And he knows it. And then he's going to get a bad attitude, or he's going to play dominant games. I mean, it just depends on their personality, what they do. But so I'm always fair. It doesn't mean that I don't use pressure. I use it as a last resort. And then they start learning, oh, I know what's going to happen. I see it coming. I see the phases of pressure coming, and he's going to start responding sooner and sooner and lighter and lighter. I see how I kind of blocked him. I just kind of blocked. Because I'm like, I see you're getting worried. You're not allowed. So my bubble, this is my bubble. He is not allowed in there unless I invite him. So if he keeps his feet still right there, I can drop the line on the ground and he's allowed to relax. But he's not allowed to come in here unless I ask him in. And then that's going to cure the biting. And that's where I don't let them, try to pick when they're in my hand, or because it leads to those dominant behaviors that you saw. So here comes a trash truck. So I'm going to move my bubble this way so that he has less a chance to run me over. I'm saying I'm not worried about it. I've already seen it come by. I don't have to look at it. Oh, no. I'm not worried about it. I'm going to ask him to back up just a little until his head comes down. See how it came down just a little bit? That's a change. I'm going to train that into him. That when I ask him to back up, if he starts lowering his head, I'll start releasing the pressure. But see how I didn't get really big? Because when you're doing it and he throws his head, that's his way of saying that was too much. Good. So I got soft in my body when he did that. Now he's going to lower his head even more. He gets worried, I'll just ask him to back up a little bit again. See how he got a little softer in the face? Yeah, no big deal. No big deal. You were anticipating it. You were worried. You were staring at it. And he goes, well, if my human has a problem with it, I have a problem with it. So I'm just going to, I'm just right here. His nostrils are flared just a little bit. And that's just a little bit of worry and concern. That's okay. Now he's licking. He's dropping his head. I'm relaxed in my body. So even though the trash truck's coming by and he's not looking at me, if I'm acting like a leader, he's going to respond appropriately. Yeah, and he's concerned. And you don't realize it, but when you're looking at it, you get kind of tense in your body a little bit, and he goes, my human's worried. I got to react because she's telling me that be ready, there's a problem. But see how we didn't have to do much. We just had to be a leader and say, I'm not really worried about it. Yeah, that comes by all the time. So what? And then, it's not going to take long before it's not an issue anymore. So that's his anxiety again. So instead of letting him stay there because that's his go-to, I'm just going to give him a little bit of something to do. So I didn't ask yet. So he came forward a couple steps. I backed him up 4 steps. I'm just going to leave him alone for a minute. I would have liked more energy out of him, but I have him up against a fence. So I didn't have that set up for success to ask for more at that time. So I'm not going to set it up to fail. I'm just going to say, okay, you move back a few feet. That's good. That's good. And now he's kind of starry-eyed still. Yeah. Well, that's what I was waiting for, because first they get a little starry-eyed, and so that's the worst time to ask them for something because they're kind of like locked up in the brain. And then he dropped his head, started licking his lips, then he's feeling okay. Yeah. So, and shaking, that's, the releasing tension there. Good. So I'm going to have him just follow me for a minute. And what I want a responsive follow me, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of tension on that. He's leaning on it, so I'm going to touch him and say, that's not appropriate. Then I'm going to relax and walk. Okay. Yes, he's leaning on it, saying, I'll walk, but only a little bit. So I'm saying, no, I need you to stay with me. There, that's nice. Look at how respectful that is. And my stick is just acting like, well, it's like it's like the lead mare and the stallion. The lead mare says, go, and if the horse doesn't go, the stallion bites and says, you didn't listen to the lead mare. So my stick is the stallion. So I'm going to give him a second here because he's, this is his go-to, obviously. I just make commotion. Like, see, you're not allowed to come over here and start nibbling. He wants to push his anxiety over here and start nibbling on stuff. But this is, by setting boundaries like this, see that soft sigh? He's going to start relaxing more because he goes, okay, you're the boss now. I don't have to worry about stuff so much because you've got my back. But he has to know his boundaries. Okay, so I'm going to do that again. I'm going to ask for him to go forward. The lead mare says go forward. The stallion says you didn't listen to the lead mare. You didn't listen when I asked you to go. And when he does, I'm like, I'm nice and soft and relaxed. I got energy in my body because I'm going forward, but I want him to stick with me. Hey, now I barely touched him that time. So I'm only going to touch as much as I have to. I'm not whacking on him. I'm just saying, you didn't listen to me. Now, see? Now he just saw the stick and says, never mind. See how quick it can get lighter? Because now he knows, because I'm going to raise it before I touch him. I'm not going to just go whack on him. So I'm going to ask here I barely had to lift the stick that time, and he's like, I'm with you. The respect's coming up. And he's not allowed to go in front of me. Okay, he's got to stay out of my bubble, and that's okay right there where he's at because that's where I asked him to stop. But he's not allowed to move past me. Not into me, not past me. If I stop, he stops. So I'm going to bring up the energy in my body. I'm going to take a deep breath in, go forward. I'm going to tap. But see how he's not worried? Because I'm being fair. He cares that I'm being fair. And he also cares that I care how much he does. I'm not saying, okay, that those little steps you give me, that's good enough. I'm not saying that. So what I kind of do is I kind of lift my right hand first, breathe in. That's all it took that time. That was a great change. Drop that, not in my bubble. Now I'll give him a break because he put in a lot of effort there. It was light. So now he licks his lips. He gets a big break. Because I'm always asking for better. I'm always saying, I never let them lean on my lead rope, on my hands, on anything. So I'm telling him, and also stay out of my bubble. And he's going to start feeling better about things because he goes, I know my boundaries. So whatever I do on the left side, I also have to do on the right side. Okay, but I'm giving him a break right now because that was really nice. That last time, all I did was take in a deep breath. And he was like, yes, ma'am, I'm with you. So I'm looking for change, I'm looking for improvement, but I'm only looking for a little bit of improvement at a time. But if he's heavy, if I have to use my stick, he's not light yet. So until he can respond just off the energy in my body, I'm going to keep asking. Once he does, I give him a break and go, that was awesome. But see how he's not worried about things? Because I'm just making things clear for him. And, he's still kind of he's still thinking about this. So I give them as much time as I need. I don't care how long it takes. And usually, as time goes, they need less and less time to process. Because then they know, yeah, absolutely. So, in the beginning, you have to give them a lot. Yeah. But can you see how he feels calmer? Because he knows what's expected of him right now. And I didn't have to get mean or mad or aggressive. And that's a big thing, too. We have to make sure that we don't get emotional when we do this. No negative energy. Like when I was tapping him, I'm just like, I was just, let's tell you, you didn't listen. But I have no ill feelings about it. It's just a matter of fact. And then every time I asked, it got lighter and lighter until all I had to do was breathe in, ask forward, and he's like, yes, ma'am, and he's just trotting next to me. Huh, buddy? Yeah. So my hope, too, would be that he would do less of that with his tongue because now he's going to feel better about things. He's going to feel like, okay, I know my boundaries. You're in charge. I don't have to worry about things because you've got my back. Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of it has to do with the being fair. You know, I slowly ask for things. So I'm going to do it on the other side now. So I'm going to ask. I bring up the energy. If he leans on that, I'm going to tap. He's still leaning on it, so I'm going to tap again. I'm not tapping hard. It's just enough to get his attention. He's still leaning. I'm going to hold that. I'm not going to pull on it. I'm going to let him find the release. See how I didn't pull or yank? I let him find the release. There, it was just a couple light taps is all it took. Now I'm very soft in my body because he's doing what I want. When I turn, I want him to keep up with me. I would like it to be shoulder to shoulder. Good. I breathe in, ask for a little bit more. See, it's getting lighter. Yes. That was better. So I'm going to, not in my bubble. He has to learn that because he's used to being in your bubble. I only asked for just a little bit. He gave me 4 steps. He's giving me more respect now. Because he didn't just back up a little bit, he backed up a lot. He goes, yes, ma'am. But see how I didn't have to do a lot? And look at him. Yeah, because he knows his boundaries. It means so much to the horse. The more particular that we get without being mean, mad, or critical, the better they start feeling. He looks like a different horse, doesn't he?
He does, huh? Very much so.
And all we're doing is setting boundaries here. So once he relaxes, I would like you to try that. Okay? So it takes a little while to get used to playing with your energy, and I know you're an energy person, but learning how to bring it up for the horse and bring it down and be appropriate with the times that you do it, you know, it just, after a while, it'll become automatic. Like, I don't even think about it until I'm trying to explain it. Yeah. And I looked at it, and then I was like, so, it's a truck. They go by here. So he's kind of starry-eyed. I'm going to take a step back. I try different things. There's not just one way to do things. So I'm just going to see if I can just do a little bit. Yeah. Instead of just asking for forward or something, I just asked him to move his front end a little bit. It causes them to think, because it's not one of their normal behaviors is to move sideways or backwards. So I just asked for a little bit. And then he starts thinking instead of just being locked up in his brain. I'm going to push on that shoulder. My shoulder does the same thing. I'm pushing. Yes, thank you. And then see how I relaxed? He does what I ask. My energy comes down. He feels that. He knows that that's a release of pressure. Yeah. Good releases. And we give him that time. And eventually, over time, he won't need that as much. I'm going to ask him to move this shoulder over. I'm going to just wiggle this a little bit. See, my shoulder goes with it. Because that's how they do with each other. So I move my shoulder. It makes more sense to him. I'm going to wiggle that just to get his attention. Yes. Good. Nope, you're not allowed in my space, though. Oh, so sorry, I forgot. If he's going to focus on something, I'll give him something to do. Yeah. Because I want to be more interesting than everything else he's worried about out there. Nope, you got to back up. See how I'm going to start staying still? I get taller, and then I back off. I want him to move. I want me to stay still, if I can. Yeah, I brought my energy up, and I push with my body. And that makes sense to the horse. That's how they work with each other. Now there's a truck coming, so I don't want him running into me. Yeah. Back up. You're okay. Yeah. I'll move his front end. There we go. See that change when his head came down just a little bit? I released the pressure. Good. I don't care about that truck over there. I might ask him to move his shoulder just to give him something to do instead of just staring at it. And you can let him just stare at it like we did. Anything but forward. Because forward, they can just like tune out and just get crazy. Good. Yeah. And he appreciates that because I helped him through it. I said, you don't need to worry about it. I want him to go, I got to pay attention to her because she's way more interesting. And if I don't, my life gets kind of crazy, so I better listen to her. So he's just kind of dwelling right there. I'm going to give him a minute to just process that again. But that's way better, isn't it? Well, and I know it's kind of hard because he lives right next to the street, but where I live, the horses are in a pasture that's right by the road. They're used to everything because it's like trash trucks, motorcycles, ambulances. They're just like, eh. Yeah. And what would be ideal is if you knew someone and have them just follow it for a little bit and just go, oh, yeah. I'm going to bring the stick out to the side. You're not allowed to lean on that. He's never allowed to lean on the rope. Yeah, absolutely. I'm just holding that. I'm holding it. I'm not pulling on it. It's up to him to catch up. If he jerks on it, he's got to find his own release of pressure. Good. Good. See how I just kind of raise up. I rise up. No, because that's why he jerks. Because that's just too fast and too abrupt. Yeah. Good job. Good job. So you try it. So you want to have just enough rope. I kind of double it up. So you want there to be slack in the line, but not so far that you can't reach back with the stick. So you might want even the longer one just to start with. It's up to you. Because you'd have a better chance of reaching him. The longer stick.
Can I use this one?
Yeah.
This is what I use.
And so you want to keep slack in the rope. Okay? So you ask him forward. If he leans against that, look behind and touch him on the belly. Yeah, because you didn't listen oh, you can. At first. Yes, but after a while you won't need to do that.
There's the coyote again.
Yeah. Touch.
Oh, that was too much.
Just light, and if it doesn't work, then you touch next time. Yeah. That's okay, you're learning. He needs to keep up with you. Touch him. Ah, yes. Good. You want him to catch up to your shoulder. Yes. Good. And if you turn a corner and he does really good, then give him a little break. Yeah. He was a little bit jerky with his head, but that's okay. I mean, we're just starting. Okay. If the rope gets tight, you need to work towards touching. You lift it first. If he goes, there we go. Good. Look, yes, you can relax now. And he needs to stay out of your bubble, though. Yeah. Good, yeah. Yeah. But that was way different than he usually does, right?
Yeah, I mean, I tap,
It's
and then he catches up, but what I'm doing is I was going, as you saw in the very first circle, I went from a 0 to 100.
yeah.
Which I tell people, please can't do that, but of course I'm doing it, right?
Well, because it's an automatic habit, it's something we've done for a long time, so it's a pattern, so we got to create new patterns. So when if the horse is right here and I'm turning a corner and that rope starts to get tight, I'm already starting to lift that. But see how I do it kind of slow? And if he didn't move, then I would tap. So he sees it coming. Okay? And so if I'm doing this and he gets tight and I lift that, the moment he starts going, I drop it. But if he hasn't yet, I'm going to lift it higher and then I'm going to work towards tapping. But it's all fair because he's got lots of warning there. Because I want him to make the right decision. I want him to get lighter and more responsive. And the only way he's going to do that is if he learns that if he doesn't do it, that's going to come, but it's going to come slowly. So he has time to think his way to the right answer. So try the other direction. Very nice. If he gets too close, use your hand to block his eye yes. Yes, and that will keep him out. It feels like a wall to them. I do that all the time to keep him out of my space. He is.
So when it's his mouth and not his...
It doesn't matter. He's in your bubble. He's not allowed in your... Okay, he's getting ready to bite right there. Okay, so he's starting to take back over.
Because when we go around the golf course and I'm walking, if I go into a jog, of course the energy's up for both of us and we're jogging, he wants in that.
Okay, so I'm going to show you what I would do. So I'm going to ask him to go. He didn't listen. So if he starts to get in my space, and I can use that too and say, you are not allowed in my space.
You don't continue in the circle. You say, hey, and you start.
So if he starts to get too close, I'm just going to... I can either get big like that, or I can block the eye. I tried to block the eye. He wasn't listening to it. See how I touched? Because he's not giving. He's not giving to it. There, now he gave. Okay, what it was is he would not move that shoulder.
Sure, I get that, but I didn't see when you released, I didn't see what he did to that.
So he's not giving, he's not giving, he's not giving there. A little bit. There. A lot of horses are dominant on their front end. They don't want to give the shoulders because that's giving away their power. Okay? But it makes a big difference to him when he has to give me that shoulder.
Now, what did you say? You said, oh, okay.
I was asking him to move his shoulder and head over. And he was going all back up, but I'm not giving you my shoulder.
Yes, I get it. Okay.
Okay? So that's part of the problem when you're walking him and he gets too close. He goes, he's playing dominance games with you. Yes. So I was saying that is not allowed.
He was pushing you with the shoulder like they were in a hurry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask, I'm going to say, I kind of have the stick by the neck and I'm saying, he's not giving. He doesn't want, there. He gave me a little bit. It was just a little bit, but I look at where I'm starting and I ask for a little bit of improvement.
Do you think he understands what you're
He doesn't want to give he's used to pushing into you with his shoulder. He's dominant with his front end. And he's saying, I own that, you don't. Okay? As long as that happens, you're never going to be safe. So I'm going to ask again. I'm going to get big. Breathe in. He doesn't want to give it. And then I got soft. So whenever I'm working with a horse and I find a problem, I stop everything else I'm doing and I fix the problem. This is what we're working on right now because he's telling me that I am not allowed to move his front end around. And that's where you're going to get hurt if you don't learn to control the front end. So I'm going to start with and it's rhythmic pressure. So I have to make sure when I'm doing it that it's rhythmic, because if it's boom or boom, it doesn't make sense. It has to be consistent with rhythm so they understand it. See, I don't care about the truck. I don't care.
straight, huh?
So I'm going to, my speaker keeps going out. I'm going to ask again. I'm going to get big, lift my shoulder. I'm going to use rhythm. See how he wants to back up, but he doesn't want to give me that shoulder. There. But see how I didn't start whacking on him and say, you need to move that shoulder. I just kept that pressure there until he could find the answer. Okay?
Notice you didn't guide. So what I would do is I would take the rope and as I'm asking him to, turn on the hind, let's say, I'm directing with that lead rope and, like you did
But then he's in your bubble. He's still able. Yes. Okay. So he's going, I gotcha. But so right now, this is what we have to work on. So, but see how we've done it a few times, but it hasn't really gotten better. I have to wait till we get way down there before he gives me that front end. So we're going to keep on doing it until it gets better. And then once it gets better on this side, we'll do the other side.
He understands what
He knows exactly. He's just resisting giving me that. He goes, I've always had control of my shoulder. Because horses, depending on whether they're right brain or left brain, confident or unconfident, some of them are more in control with their hind end because they like to kick for dominance, and some like to strike or bite.
It's so funny you say that. He's a striker.
Yes. So he doesn't want to give up his front end. That's where his power is.
Because he strikes, not now, but he struck at I tell people stay away, keep your dog away, don't strike.
You don't need to worry about that. So I backed him until his head came down just a little bit. And then the rest he'll bring down on his own. Or not, and if he doesn't, then we'll back up again. You don't need to worry about that. I get big. His head came down just a little bit. Now he's looking. And that truck went by. Who cares? But we're still going to work on the shoulder, but something else came up. We have to address whatever's most important at the moment. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up here. He doesn't want to give it. I'm going to let him find the answer. Yes. So I just held that pressure there and said, you find the answer. If you move your shoulder away, all the pressure goes away. So that's how I share the conversation with him. I set it up. He has to find the answer.
Yeah, I need to watch you do it again because I am a little confused on how far out. I guess it is head scared. But I have the crop here, and I'm, using that virtual energy wall.
So what I need to do is yes. So I need to be in front of the shoulder. I need to have my body directing where I want his feet to go. So my belly button is pointed over there where I want his foot to go. I'm going to get big. I'm going to touch if I have to. I'll get bigger. There, he gave it to me. I dropped. But I kept facing because he's going to go where I'm directing my energy. I was directing my energy where I wanted his feet to go. And you're going to be able to watch it again on the video. So that'll help you. So I'm going to rise up. He stops. But see how there's no jerky of the head that way? But I slowly, get bigger, get smaller, get bigger, get smaller. So that last one was a lot better. He didn't have to go all the way down there to give it to me. So I'm going to give him a break because there was improvement. I'm looking for improvement. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for improvement. A little bit of improvement every day leads to a lot of improvement over time. But you have to do it baby steps. You can't say, that wasn't good enough. You have to say, that was better. Thank you. That was better. And then they start wanting to try better because they don't think in their minds, oh, I'm never good enough. It's never good enough. I never want them thinking that. Pretty cool, huh? So right now I'm really relaxed. I'm giving him time to think about it because he gave me a big improvement. We didn't have to go only a few feet that time. I know. A lot less activity with the mouth now. He knows he needs to keep his feet there. He's having a little bit of a hard time with it. But he's doing it. And he's going to start finding comfort with that because he's going to know that he doesn't have to do anything as long as he's doing what I asked him to do. So that was kind of him being sneaky. Is she going to catch that? I caught it, yes. So I backed him up a little bit. And I didn't move my feet. I didn't go anywhere. I just you can cause commotion in lots of ways. You can do this. You can do this. Well, not that fast. You can tap him on the chest, do a little bit of rhythm, and then tap on the chest. There's a lot of different ways to do it. It's just you find out what's effective. Every horse is different. A real sensitive horse, I'd really have to bring up my energy really slow and then down real slow because then there'd be a lot of head jerking and stuff. So you have to adjust it for each horse because every horse has their own sensitivity level. But he's different. He's not as worried and not as much anxiety. So now I'm going to ask the other side, and then after I do it, I'm going to have you do it. So I'm going to direct my energy where I want his feet to go. And I'm going to have this like towards the shoulder and the eye. So I'm going to get big and lift my shoulders. I'm going to start wiggling. I'm going to get bigger. There. And then I drop it. The only way he's going to know that he did the right thing is if I give that release of pressure. I want to reward. I'm always looking for where can I reward. Because I want them to want to learn. I want them to get better and better. Much nicer, right? But you see how I slowly came up? Because I don't want him, reacting like that. Now I'm going to start pointing my energy that way. I'm going to lift up. Get bigger if I need to. Because he's going, you can't get me. There. Leave him alone. Give him a minute. You're too close. Thank you. Remember, this is my bubble. What's that in Dirty Dancing? This is my dance space. That's your dance space. Let's cha-cha. But he's going to start realizing that's my bubble. And he's not allowed in it unless I invite him. So he's blown away that I have control of his shoulders.
Is that what you're feeling?
Yeah, he's just like, oh my God.
No one's ever done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one's ever done that. I'm his second owner. Got him from the girl back then.
So this, if you noticed, his right side is easier than the left side. So I'm going to direct my energy there again. My stick's right here. I will touch if I have to, but I'm going to give him an opportunity first to respond. And I'm going to give him that time. So do you kind of get that? Does it make sense?
Yes, it makes sense. So when you crossed over, when you release the pressure and you circle a little bit to here, that's okay. It doesn't have to stay here.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't come in my bubble, and he just positioned himself where he was kind of facing me, and that's okay. As long as he's doing something that's respectful and not trying to say, what can I get away with here? You know, let me start pushing on her bubble again. Because every minute they're trying to say, who's alpha right now? You know, what's she going to do about this? What's she going to do about this? Maybe if I just do a little bit here and she won't notice. Oh, he does not come out of the stall Mr. Perfect by any stretch of the imagination. And if it's been a few days and it's cooler weather, and I take him to, I'm like, some days I know we need to do Liberty right now because you're really up. And so, and he'll do his bucking and kicking and little stuff. But I laugh at it and I say, go ahead, but then come back and then we're going to orchestrate something. Or sometimes I'll keep him online if he's really amped up because I don't want him learning to just go bucking and going crazy. But sometimes I tell him, just go, let it out of your system. And it takes me a little while to get him. I'll have you come over and you can watch how I work with him. But he doesn't come out going, yes, ma'am. I mean, I have to get him engaged in the activities. I have to get him wanting to interact with me. So I have to play a lot of games with him to get him exuberant and wanting to have fun. Because he's lazy by nature. I'm going to come over here because there's a truck. We're going to back. You're okay. You're all right. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Yeah. That's fine. I want you to back. Good. Till your head comes down a little bit. It came down a little. I'm just looking for little changes. Just little changes. I don't want him to be fixated on it because that's what he's used to doing. So I'm going to give him something to do. Now move his shoulder. Thank you. Move his shoulder. Good. Good. Yeah. Yeah. It's all right. Yeah. Good. Not in my bubble, though. Not in my bubble. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Good. You're okay. Move your shoulder. There. He was starting to get a little locked up, so I just... Good. Now he looks softer. I'm going to leave him alone. So I rather, I like to give them something to do on it so that he starts getting better and going. I want him to look to me for leadership instead of just focusing on that. Good. Good. So my shoulder's going to go where I want his shoulder to go. Good. Back up. Yeah. So I got to do a little bit of extra pressure right here because he's so fixated on that. Come on. Yeah. See, as soon as he gave, I opened my hand. Because when I open my hand, I get relaxation. I'm more relaxed, and he relaxes, and he realizes because he was putting that pressure on himself. I'm going to turn this way. I'm going to ask him to. So he leans on it. I just hold it until he relaxes, and then I get very soft. Yeah. Good. Good. I know. Move his hind end. Move his front end. Yeah. Good. He's locked up, so I had to touch because he's not listening. I could also tap that. Yeah. I relax, he relaxed. Now he's licking his lips. Now his head's low. And he's feeling better about life. Cool stuff, huh?
Yeah. You make it look easy.
Lots of practice. It was me having a horse that I had since she was born that was a very, very challenging horse that drove me to learn. You probably read about it. I still have her, yes. She's 21. Give me a little bit more. Thank you. But see how it's light taps. I'm not mad. I'm not frustrated. Yeah. But if he's moving, I don't have to tap. So my shoulders come up and they turn with him. See how I block that? I'm like, no, you don't need to pay attention to that. Yeah. Good. He went forward. I opened my hand. Yeah. A lot of crazy stuff happens, but we're okay. We survive it. Yeah, give him something positive to do. Yeah, you're okay. You're okay. I got your back. Yeah. Yeah. If when that starts going away, we'll start following it. There. I know. Yeah. See, and he looks to me for leadership more when I help him through situations. Now I'll let him drop the end of the rope on the ground. I want you back a little bit. You're in my bubble just a little bit. There. Good. Yeah. And now it's better again. Once he's done dwelling there, then you can work on moving the shoulders. And I'll help you wherever you need help. But give him the time to just lick and chew and blink and yawn. Yeah.
How long when you're working do you recommend a session be? It kind of depends on how
It depends on what you're working on your progress. Because as soon as something's better, I get off of it and I do something else. If there's been some progress and I ask for more of the same thing, that's when he's going to go, it's never good enough. I get a little bit of better progress, just a little bit, and then I move on to doing something else. Or if you're only going to work on that one thing that day, that's fine too. But you just have to get off of it when you see a little bit of improvement. And that's how they start becoming super learners, because, they go, always feel good. You want to end doing something when there's some progress, and they go, oh, I was good. And then you do something else, get a little progress, oh, I was good. And then they start getting, wanting to participate more. But we have a tendency as humans to try to do too much. We're like, oh, that was good. Let's get some more. No. Sometimes I go to ride Troubadour and I get on and I might be working on collected transitions, or I might be working on shoulder in. I might be, whatever I might be working on. Sometimes I get on and within the first 5 or 10 minutes, it's just like butter and it's so good. I'm like, God, I really wanted to ride longer, but I have to be disciplined and I have to get off because it was so you gave me everything. I'm like, I can't ask for any more than that. Yeah, I would like to ride for the next 50 minutes, but I can't. And sometimes I do ride for an hour, just depending on what we're working on. But if I went out with a plan, I always have a plan what I'm going to work on. And so, I have that plan, and he just goes, yeah, I'm with you. Check this out. And it's great. Now let's just go get some grass or, have some treats or, I let him roll and, I sit on the ground and he'll take a nap and I just sit there with him. Because just like horses would do with each other, I'll stay there until he's done napping, because that's what another horse would do. They'd watch over him. And sometimes I'm like, God, couldn't you have done this in the shade? It's 105 out, but I won't leave. Yeah. So I can. He'll lay down with me on him. He'll get up with me on him. He'll take a nap with me, but it was building that step by step and just always being there, and being alpha and also having that downtime with them and just hanging out with them, listening to them, knowing what they need, trying to learn what they need.
That's why I was so excited to bring them home, because when you're at a boarding facility, you don't have to hang out with them. You're there,
Right.
feed, ride, put them away, and leave.
Yes.
So you don't get that hang out.
Yeah. See how he knows he has to stay there now?
Yeah, he does that, but he's not creepy.
No, because he knows now. They're smart. They really, as long as we're consistent, they learn fast.
So smart.
It's us that has to catch up.
I said that to my husband the other day, because why are you always making excuses? I'm going to move his shoulders then.
Yeah. So you want to have most of the rope up.
He was already ready.
I know, I got to bring my energy down. So you want to direct your energy where you want his feet to go. So you want the stick.
Can I tighten up or no?
Well, because then you're making him, you're pulling him, and then he's going to get in your space,
Which is what I
right?
do. Yeah.
So you want the stick about like here. And I just get bigger if I need to, as if he's not responding. Yeah. Good. And dropped it. Perfect. Yeah. And if he comes forward, just kind of make him, you can just use the stick with some rhythm or whatever, to just have him back up a little bit, and then ask for another step.
Can I back him now?
Got you, yes. But stay where you're at. You got to stay where you're at, because alpha doesn't say, let me get in position so I can tell you what to do, right? It's these little things that we don't think about.
Back up. So can I move forward now?
So bring up your energy. Touch. Yeah, and until you're ready, and then, yeah. But come up slow. It's like you're playing an instrument, where you go up and down slowly. Right? Yeah.
Can I go the same direction or different direction?
It's up to you. He did that one pretty good.
Ready to work?
Yeah. Back him up. He's not allowed to go forward. Yes. And then, yes. And look at the look on his face now. That's like... No, because you're going to start using this stuff. And it'll take a little bit of time. Yeah. And then I want you to try to have him follow you and then bring up your energy for him to stop. If he gets to the end of it, just keep that pressure and let him come off of it. Hold it. Yep. And yes, perfect. Perfect. Now bring up. Yep. Yep. See, and you'll get good at this because you're an energy person anyway. Yeah. He's like, who are you and what did you do with hula? So you can either ask him to back up or you can move the front end either side. It's up to you. You just choose something to do. Okay. And he can get away with a lot. Look up. Like, yeah. There. Good. Yeah. Well, you're going to look at where you want him to go. Because they take a lot of direction off of where our eyes are focused. And so if we're looking down, they're like, well, what do you want? So he's a little bit too much in your space right there. So what I would do is I would wiggle the top of this close by his eye.
And me not so close to him?
Yeah. Because he's still, I want him out of my bubble.
I was going back to my habits of being right.
Yeah, see, now he's, see how much space he's leaving me? And if he's not, you just start with soft rhythm, then you add more, and if he doesn't, then you tap, and it's fair. So he won't take offense. It's not easy stuff, but we can do it. Direct more towards his nose because he's going forward too much. Yeah. So let me just show you one thing really quick. Yeah. So what I do is I try to start over here because I want to be maybe even in front of the nose right here because I want to direct my energy that way. So I have to stay in front, and if he starts to go forward, I can just put that in front and block it. That door's closed. See how I'm way out here? If he gets too far, I'll just block that. Yes. It's a dance.
Wanting to go forward, and then I feel like I'm under him, so then I gotta use the wall, block that door.
Yeah.
Back him up some till I get to where I am.
Yes. Yes. Because if you're moving your feet a whole lot and he's moving his feet a little.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So instead of me going over there, I'm going to ask. And then I can move my stick like that. He's too far in front. I'm going to wait till he backs up. He can still do it, even though there's a fence. I'm going to back up. I can tap his chest. Big. Give me that shoulder. Thank you. See how he kind of got braced there for a second? So I tapped his shoulder because he was like, I can't. And then I tapped it. He goes, okay, I can. If he offers resistance, I offer a little more pressure. Yeah, because he goes, I don't want to. Yeah. So then that's when I can add a little extra pressure because he's saying no. And I'm saying, try a little harder than he does it. And I'm like, great. Perfect. You get a break. Okay. Yes, good. Okay, and stop. because that was really good. Remember, if it's going good, stop and give him a break. Because before he was going forward and you couldn't get it, you got a whole circle there. And I might have even stopped after a half a circle just to reward because it was better. I take wherever they were at. Because before he was moving forward, he was, yeah. But now he goes, okay, I'll just do it. So I would have asked for maybe even less because he was doing it so nice. Because then and then we build on it and start doing more and more. Because if you start asking for too much, the forward's going to come back in and it's going to get all messed up again. So we want to reward every effort that he gives us. Yeah, just have your shoulders open when you go back. That's another little thing I'll show you. You can just watch me for a second and just stay there with him. But if you were the horse and you were coming towards me, when I back up, I open my shoulders. And when I want him to stop, I close my shoulders and I exhale. That makes sense to them.
And I use vocals like follow, and I use vocal cues, and you don't want that.
I think it's really important that we get our communication really well, non-verbally first. Okay? When I went through the Pirelli program, until after level 4, we weren't allowed to use verbal cues at all.
See, in my world, because these guys talk in pictures, I want you to say the word, and you visualize it, you speak it, and then they see it.
Well, if that helps, that's okay. But the reason they do that, too, is because people depend on the horses learning our language. They're like, he should understand. I've done this before. I don't know why he won't trot when I want him to trot. And
That's not my
okay,
theory behind it.
okay.
But, because
Then that's okay. As long as you're not counting on him just understanding a verbal word.
yeah, it's more.
Okay. Open your shoulders. Yeah. And close them. Yeah, so when you close them, they know what that means. Back him up a little bit. He came a little because he's kind of tuning you out just a little bit, like going, well, I'm used to being able to go up in her space. So he goes, I know I can't get away with it with her, but I can get away with it with you.
My intent right now is to turn him this way.
So move the shoulder.
And walk.
Perfect. Yeah. Just keep asking. Just get bigger over there. Yeah. Good.
I have to say it.
Good.
Yeah. I feel like he's getting frustrated right now with me.
Okay.
How that would be. Because this is new to him. He's like, who are you?
Well, a little bit of that anxiety is coming back up. But a lot of that is just going to be with you playing with it because, learning how to slowly bring up your intensity and then to how to bring it down. Because your movements are still just a little bit jerky. And then, but it's just, it's just going to take practice. Good. Well, I would probably go ahead and ask him to do something so he doesn't just go into that zone. Good. Keep asking till he gives you a little bit more. Get a little bigger. Yeah. So what I'd do is I would tap his, because he didn't offer you any extra. So I'm going to turn him because we're running out of space there. So until he can give me a little bit more. Good. And I come down. And he comes down. Because he's used to going, I'll give you this much. But that's it. So if if I have to tap, I'll tap lightly and then just slowly start tapping a little bit more. Like every second or two, like I'll tap 1, 2, if it's not, or 3, and if it's not any better, then I'll double it. After 1, 2, 3, then I'll double it again. It makes sense to them because I'm not just going in and going whack.
Okay, I'm gonna watch you do it again.
So I'll touch a couple times. If it's not better, I'll touch lightly. If it's not better, then I'll double the intensity. Okay? I'm going to touch. It's not better. I'm going to double it. Got better. I back off. And then he starts to know if I don't respond right, it's going to escalate. And he's not going to take offense because I was fair. Okay, it doesn't mean we never put pressure on horses. It just means we do it in a fair manner. And after a while, we don't have to because I could just start doing this. And he's going to start backing up. One more time. Get big. And see, I have to do less and less. If I'm effective, I'll start being able to do less and less and get more and more. But it just takes time. It takes practice. He's going, holy. And then there's a lot less anxiety in his mouth and stuff because
Yeah, with me, the anxiety start kicking in. He gets you, and you're so clear in your communication.
it just takes time. I mean, you're doing good. I mean, you're getting the concepts and you're doing good. It just takes practice. Nobody's perfect when they're learning. Yeah. Another thing that might go ahead, keep going. Good. Good. Well, it depends. If he's doing a release or if he's playing with his tongue and going kind of internal like that. So if he's licking and he's blinking, like he is right now, he's blinking and stuff, and see how his eyes are getting sleepy? This is where I would leave him alone. But if he's playing with his tongue, that's kind of that anxiety where he wants to kind of disappear, then I would just go ahead and do something and get a little bit of improvement and see if it gets better. Yeah. Like let's not camp out there. Yes. Just like the trucks coming by. I gave him something else to focus on. Yeah. So the one thing that might help, no, it was good. But instead of being like that much, you don't have a lot of, yeah. Be down here, and that'll just give you a little bit more to work with. But that was really good. And exhale and close your shoulders, yeah. Yeah. Now when he's doing that, when he's licking, and he's let him do that. It's just we're not going to let him play with his tongue. Because that's kind of like his little safety thing, like sucking on a pacifier. Well, no, see his eyes? Look at his eyes. He's still he's processing. He looks kind of sleepy. We need to let him, so turn your body away from him a little bit. Ah, yeah, that gives him more of an opportunity to do that because he feels less pressure. When we're directly on them, that's pressure. Yeah. And then let the belly of the rope on the ground, because that way there's no wiggle, there's no miscommunication. Back him up a couple steps. Yeah.
You can do this with your pony.
I'm typing a lot and trying to absorb it all. It's a lot. You make it look so easy, like it's a natural part of it.
Oh, I was a mess when I was learning this stuff.
You're doing good, Hula. Seriously.
Yeah. But see how he's looks still sleepy? We're going to give him that time.
It could be
It's up to him.
But have you,
Oh, absolutely.
you stood for 10 minutes when
The horse I was telling you I was working with the other day, I spent almost 2 hours with the horse, and probably an hour and a half of it was this. In between, I'd ask a little bit, because that horse had so much bottled up energy and negative stuff from the past. He was releasing not just for that day, he was releasing all kinds of stuff that he's kept bottled up. And then that horse, the lady told me the next day, was a completely different horse. He just needed to let all that go.
you, that's a lot.
Well, he never felt safe enough around humans to lick and chew and relax.
Always are so hard.
And so I told the lady, I said, I know this is like watching grass grow, but this is what the horse needs right now. And she goes, oh my God, I've never seen my horse lick and chew like this.
So for that, I don't have to go to that.
Well, he's kind of in his, like, see how he's sleepy looking still? We're just going to leave him alone because he's not trying to advance on you right now. You got to kind of look at the whole picture.
That was a balance.
Probably. Because see how he looks sleepy? That's when they're really going inside and they're reviewing the tapes. They're reviewing what just happened. Now he's licking his lips. That's when he gets his dopamine. And this is what makes them feel good. When they lower their head and do this stuff. I can't remember which...
That, C2 release. Second surface.
Oh, okay.
Vertebrae release. He's tight. This.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And this one's this side. But that was
That's awesome.
emotional was because our emotions are physical.
Yeah.
That was
Good. And as long as he looks like this, we're just going to give him that time. He needs it. He's saying, I'm processing right now. And I don't care how long it takes. I don't care what. I'm here for the horse. And I just give it to him. And then I try not to like watch him too much because that's pressure too. I mean, you can glance over at him and stuff.
totally right.
But in order for him to feel like he can really just let it all go, he needs to feel like there's nobody's like watching him going, okay, what are you doing? So like I'll glance to see if he's blinking, that's shaking, that's good, that's release.
That touch right here, because nothing I do is unintentional, right?
Yep. What, on his chest? Okay. 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 But so you can see how much this is meaning to him. Yeah. But see, that's why we keep the belly on the ground so there's no, or he's not going, you rang? You know, or if it's making noise too often, they just start tuning it out. Because I only want that moving when I'm asking for something. And that's the importance of having the belly of the rope on the ground. Yeah. Those are Pirelli ropes. They're not for boats. The what do they call those ropes? The yachting ropes. Yeah.
So I could go to the store and buy
It's hard to find ones that are good quality like that.
down at Shelter Island when I
Oh, yeah, you could get and make your own.
yeah.
But those are so good because they're,
Like the weight.
yeah. Yeah. And it's easy to slide in your hand and stuff when you want it to and without, worrying too much about rope burns and stuff. Yeah, you can go ahead. If his attention goes somewhere else, let's go to work. Yeah. So one little thing I'm going to have you do. Well, you just went too fast because you went instead of slowly bringing it up and going. Let's go. Okay. So that's the stuff that builds that anxiety in him when it's just too fast, because it's like, oh my God, you know? It's almost like they feel like they're in trouble if it's too fast. So it's got to, like that music instrument, you got to slowly bring it up and slowly bring it down. Yeah. Well, what I would do before you start walking is I would have him take the first move, okay? Because you took several steps to him, and then he went, and he did, and then you were too close. So I'm going to stay here. I'm going to ask, and then I can start moving. So I'm not getting in his bubble. He's not getting in my bubble. Yeah, because you walked over to his bubble, and then he's like, yeah. It's okay. This is how we learn. Well, it was kind of your fault because you got in his face. That's well, it's letting some stuff out, but there's anxiety in there too. So I would go ahead, see like he's wanting to play with that. That's anxiety coming up. Have that top part longer. Yeah, so you can move it like that. Yeah. Yes. Back up, back him up. You didn't ask him forward. It's okay. Bring up your energy. Yeah, get bigger. Yeah, see how that helped him? When you got bigger, he goes, okay, I'm out of here.
Wow. You said close that door. So we can go that way. But wait, my usual go-to, Debbie, was to go and cut him off there. But I love how you use this.
Yes.
And I close the door and then you get back to it.
Yes. Yeah.
Back up. Back up. Back up.
Mean it. Yep.
Back up.
Yeah.
Now when you go sideways like that, should I close the door? Straight.
You can do it two ways. You can either close the door if you can get there. If not, you can bump him a little bit with the rope. Whichever you can get to. It just depends on.
So it's a con,
Yeah. I usually try to close the door, but if he's way over there, you might not be able to reach. So you have to catch it sooner before he gets way over there. So it's that dance.
So he's kind of focused on that sound. So can I walk
Yeah.
forward?
You can do whatever you want to do. Yes. And focus where you're going. Look where you're going. Your intention means a lot to the horse. Yeah. See, you got a good intention there? And look at that. Yes, ma'am. They can feel our intention. Yeah. What a difference that made.
When we're walking right now, I brought my energy down and I was consciously trying to bring it slow, so not go rough. He still took a couple steps ahead of me to stop. So
Close the door.
shoulder.
Close the door.
Well, can you show me? Because let me just show you.
Okay, yes, again. Tap. He's not allowed to. Yes. And he's not allowed in your space. You got a bubble.
See that? That's a big
Well, he turned to face you, which we can't fix everything in one day, but I'll show you what I would do, okay? Because I don't want to make it too
He did it right this time, but right before this,
Well-
he took about 2 steps before he decided to stop.
Okay, so I just close that. I just, can't go that way, can't go that way, can't go that way. You know, I just tell him. I just keep closing doors. There's only one open door. All the others are closed, and I'm going to make sure he knows which door's open and which door's closed. So, Don't lean on me. Thank you. Thank you. Now I get really relaxed. I'm going to focus where I'm going. I'm going down there. I want him coming with me. I'm coming this way. Close that door. I'm doing this because I don't want him turning around and facing me. I want him to stay parallel with me. Well, I was pushing the shoulder over. The fence just happened to be there, but I wasn't intentionally using the fence. I was just saying, good boy. Yeah. Good boy. Okay, we're going. Hope you're coming with me. Stay parallel with me. Yes, good. So instead of trying to move the hind end back, because he's trying to move it that way, I just move the front end and say, you need to stay parallel with me. Because it's hard, because if you try to move the hind end, then you got to get all out of place, all back there. So you got to move the front end and just say, he's trying to move the hind end that way, say, no, move the front end that way a little bit. And stay straight. Stay straight with me. Try it again. I know. See how I exhale? Now this time he didn't try it. Breathe in. Let's go. See that? Yes, ma'am? So I'm going to move that. So I kind of bit him back. He tried nipping at me. So I just tapped them with that, and it's like Frederick would say, if they try to bite, which if my hand was in the right position, I would have just touched them like that, because that's what Frederick does, is just touch him once, and they know that that's a no. But his mouth was coming at me, and if I went to touch his neck, he would have bit me. So I blocked it, and I just said no. And so he ran into this. So he thinks he did that to himself. Because I didn't go whack after him, I just went like that. And I blocked him. You're not allowed to lean on that. Thank you. Now I can get really soft, because I had to get firm there to say, hey, you know the game now. I'm looking down there. I want to go down there. Now I'm just going. It's up to him to come with me. Yeah. I'm putting this here to push the shoulder so he doesn't turn and face me. And when there. I was going to work on other things today, but I think that these are the things that we need to address first. Is being able to back up and see where you start, how much he's giving you, ask for a little bit more, give releases, start moving that front end around, and have him follow you and stay next to your shoulder, not get in your space, not get in front of you, not turn and face you. Otherwise, it's going to be too much. Yeah. But with him, those shoulders are a big deal. So getting that is going to change a lot in your relationship. And if you find you're doing this and you can't reach him with that stick, use the bigger one. Don't be wrong too many times, because he'll just go back to his old ways. If you can't be effective, you got to change your tools right away. Keep asking, just keep asking. What made it kind of hard is you took the rope tighter, and so he didn't have many ways to go.
So
So because I don't let the rope control where he goes, my stick and my body are going to control where his body goes. So I kind of turn my body a little bit towards him, and I push either the nose or the shoulder and say, you need to stay straight. Yeah. Yeah. It's hard. It's not easy stuff.
It's like riding a bike. If you think too much about each piece, you don't keep moving, and you fall. So,
Yo, yeah, I know you will. You're already getting it. Because see, down there with that stick, you can't quite reach him if you needed to. Because you're tapping the ground. Now, that'll work a few times.
I thought that was me doing that on purpose. I wasn't trying to do that until I felt
Okay.
way. So
That's fine. As long as...
I'm gonna go to that.
Okay, that's good then. Okay. That is good.
That was,
I didn't know that that's how you were thinking.
this used to be my go-to. But
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. As you know, I
Okay.
control my hero.
Okay, that's good then. No, that's fine. I just because the only reason I said that is because a majority of the people I work with, they won't touch the horse.
Oh, no,
They'll only do that on the ground, and they'll never escalate.
oh, no, you can ask Susie.
Okay, okay.
What?
Then that's good then. As long as you touch it twice, the ground twice. If he doesn't go, then you're gonna touch him.
Touch, and then I could
Okay.
feel him pick it up, maybe.
Okay, no, that's good. That's good.
And because we are both learning, I am not trying to be perfect at this point. I felt, well, he's not here right away.
No, I like what you're doing then. As long as I know that you will. Okay.
You ask Susie, I have no problem. He's gonna correct
Okay.
me.
See, and when I do, I'm just touching them on the rib cage.
Okay.
And with a tap tap, not a whack,
Yeah.
but a tap tap.
Totally get that.
Okay.
Do you think I'm too long to get the response to get him what I call sharper? You tell me, I can take it right up.
Okay. No, it's working. It worked really good there. I just wanted to make sure that we were clear on that. Okay.
We're done talking now.
Look where you're going. When you stop, put that stick in front of you so you're ready to block the shoulder so that he doesn't.
Stepping out in front of me, so I have to use that.
Yes, to say that door's closed. And be ready with your stick out in front when you stop. Yes. That was great.
Just kind of confused how when and when not to use it.
So let me give you a visual real quick, okay? So when I'm going forward with the horse, the stick is behind me like this. When I go to stop, I start bringing it in front to block the door. Now I won't lift it if they stop, but I get in position and get ready.
And they feel and see that.
And eventually, this is what it will look like in the long run. Eventually, I'll be going forward like this, and when I stop, be like this. Okay? But right now, you have to learn how to use it both ways. But eventually, it'll hardly ever come off the ground. And then when I go to back up, I'm just dragging it. But right now, you need to be able to lift it and be ready and learn how to use it, and then we'll fine-tune it. That was good. So try the other side. Because he did really well on that side, right?
Yes. Can I turn up?
From here, how can you turn him from where you're at?
I'm gonna go like that.
Go that way? Yeah, you can do that. But then you're still going to be on the same side.
Oh, okay. So I'll just turn.
So just from where you're at, can you reach that stick over and can you influence him to come this way? I'm sorry, from the front. Move the front end. So take a step back this way.
Take a step. Toward
Back.
you?
Yeah, but have your back face the same way I am.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Face there, and then just push the shoulder over, and then go in the different direction.
So
The shoulder, yes. So now he's going the other way. Keep asking, don't quit, don't quit. If you quit, he thinks he's right. Yes. So, yes, whenever they're having trouble, you have to keep asking until they move. Because if you quit before they move, that's a release of pressure. They go, oh, I must have been right by not moving. So you can't quit until they actually move. Yep, yep. Next time he acts up like that, just stop and back him up. Because he was starting to get nippy and getting an attitude, so I would just back him up a little bit until his head starts to come down and he starts to relax a little bit.
It seems like when he picks his gait up, that's when the attitude.
If you ask slowly, by bringing up your energy slowly, he won't be so reactive. Okay? So remember? Okay, because it's like playing that instrument. I'm slowly bringing up my energy. Yeah, you can't. You gotta slowly bring it up. It's just like you want him to slowly bring it up because you don't want him to go like that. You want him to go right, and he's gonna do that if you do that. To just slowly bring it up. Then it's just a nice, respectful way to ask. Good. Be ready to block that eye if he gets too close to you. Yeah, good. Good. Yeah, stay out of your bubble. Good. Yeah, a little, it was. But he just got a little like that because it was like that. Just try to do a little less. Yeah, just everything kind of, we're going to work towards grace. But it's a process. But it was really, really good. Because, I mean, he listened, he did what you wanted, he didn't turn away. It was really, really good. Really good. And he was light, he was responsive, he was respectful. Just that one time he started thinking about acting up, but he didn't. And that's when, if they did that, and I have this here, I can always just come over here with it and block. He gets too close, I can just go, no. So my stick doesn't have to stay on this side. So I have it long like this, but I can also just take it up like this and use it like that. All those things are going to take time, but I'm just showing you, giving you a lot of things, a lot of pieces that over time will get better and better. But I love how he's being so much more responsive and respectful with you. And you're learning how to use your energy to ask. And that, yeah, it's hard. That's a lot of pieces to manage all at once. Yes, perfect. Slow, yeah. Yes! That was awesome! That was really, really good.
Is it okay that I did that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. That was really, really good. See, and he's got a better attitude now, right? Because he feels like you were being fair. And you were controlling your energy up and down better. Instead of being like real fast. And so he doesn't see how he's not taking so much offense to it. He's still going to have a little bit of anxiety because it's his go-to. But as time goes on, it'll be less and less.
Yeah.
You're so welcome.
Are you in our space?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Got to stay there until further notice. He's like, well, can I just go back to being me? And I'm like, no. So I can get big like that too. I can just, and just whatever it takes, just like create commotion. You're not allowed in my space.